Today, my name is Jason Charles. I am the Placement Officer at Custard, and I'm privileged today to speak to you about work-life balance as part of Custard Symposium on Wellness. Many of us would have heard the term work-life balance before, felt the absence of it in our lives, and even suffered the consequences of having this imbalance. But what exactly is a work-life balance? Today, I'm here to tell you exactly what it is, the signs that you may have this imbalance, and how it affects your life. In addition, we'll be exploring 10 tips in achieving a healthy balance between work and your life. We are now in unprecedented times where uncertainty surrounds us in our homes, our jobs, with our families, and even our daily lives. It is therefore important for us to be able to identify these imbalances quite early and take the necessary actions to remedy them. There's a lot to process when these work and living conditions are in a dynamic that is a fluid state. So therefore, we have to examine this imbalance in relation to your mental health. It is quite understandable to feel a little anxious and unsettled at this time, that is the period of COVID-19. Whether you are an employee that has to work from home with your family, living and being there all the time, or going to the office or establishment with your other colleagues, your workplace, your normal may be facing difficult times, and it is absolutely normal to consider what this means for you. There are many actions that you can take in your everyday life to protect and nurture your work-life balance. According to HR Zone, a work-life balance refers to the level of prioritization between personal and professional activities in an individual's life and the level to which these activities related to their job are present in their home. So, does that mean that you cannot bring work home? So does that mean you cannot think about work? The answer is no. Again, going back to the definition, it depends on the level to which these activities from the work are actually brought home. So therefore, what we are trying to say is that there must be this balance between activities at home versus activities at work. So now we're going to look at signs that you may have a poor work-life balance and how it can affect your life. So I'm going to actually list them out now, and then we'll go back into each one in a little bit of detail, giving some examples, etc. Alright? So 1, no boundaries between work and home. 2, having problems sleeping but also tired. Signs of anxiety and depression. You feel incompetent. Slight increases in weight. Struggling with relationships, neglecting home responsibilities, always thinking about work and always glued to that cell phone, tablet, computer that you have. Alright? So we're going to go back and look at each one of them now to see whether you fit that mold of whether it is you have a work-life balance, whether you have an imbalance. So essentially what we're saying is if you possess any of these or group of these, you may in fact have a poor work-life balance. So no boundaries between work and home. So essentially, there's absolutely work is work, home is work, essentially. So therefore you bring home work, you work all hours of the day, all hours of the night, you think about work, you go to sleep late, So there's no demarcation of time and no boundary set between work and home. Clients could call you at all hours of the night. Your boss sending you messages, you're staying up 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, finishing report on a continuous basis. These are signs that you may have an imbalance in your work-life balance. Having problems sleeping, but also tired. This is actually tied in with the first. So if you're always thinking about work, always working on projects from home, you're always hurrying to finish this assignment or proposal for your boss. You may have a problem. You may have a work-life balance, and from doing that you'll be tired. Even if it will translate to tiredness in the workplace when you do actually go to work, you'll always be tired, and it leads to the point 3, signs of anxiety and depression. Because you're always tired, you become irritable, you may become anxious, you may be suffering depression. Alright? So because you are always studying work, and you don't necessarily have time to do things to expel stress, for instance, exercise and these sort of things, you get a little anxious, you get angry quick, you snap a lot, and it's not good and it's not healthy. This can lead into depression. When you think you're working, you try to be a perfectionist, so nothing is ever good enough. So therefore you work and you work and you work, and you try to actually be the best that you can be. And your boss is telling you, no, revisit it. It is an opportunity. You tend to become depressed, dejected at yourself, etc. Increasing gain weight. Because, you are constantly working, there may not be enough time to go to the gym. So not going to the gym, coupled with eating, snacking when you're working late, snacking all hours of the morning, that it becomes, therefore, you eat and increase weight, and this increasing weight doesn't come all at once, it comes over time. And you have to look at that, because you have to be healthy. A healthy body equals a healthy mind. All right? Next, you start struggling with your relationships and your family. You neglect responsibilities at home. Because you are working so hard, you're working at home, you're answering the phone. The duties and responsibilities assigned to you at home, or that you have at home, you may not be able to undertake because you're constantly at work, you're constantly snacking, you're constantly at home in your computer, home on the desk, trying to finish assignments. The children trying to come and play with you, and you don't have time. Daddy's working, mommy's working, So family time is extremely important. And when we have a poor work-life balance, sometimes there's a struggle in relationships within families, struggle with responsibilities. There are tasks and projects that may go undone for months, for weeks, for months, and sometimes for years. So therefore, we have to work on that, and that poor struggling relationship and neglect of responsibilities could be a sign that you have a poor work-life balance. And always thinking about work. Always thinking about work. Is that you? You could be at home, you could be at work, you could be at the beach, you could be at the pool, you could be at the anywhere, you could be on vacation and you're studying work. Is that you? You're always thinking about work. You are programmed to think about work. And that's a major sign of having a poor work-life balance, is that your mind is constantly thinking about work. What is the client going to say? What is your boss going to say? Etc. And the last sign is that, and it's tied into all of these, is that you're glued to your phone, you're glued to your tablet, you're glued to your computer. So therefore, you're always expecting that message from the client. You're always expecting that email from your boss. You're always expecting. So therefore, you have to realize that, you have to have this balance. And all of these items listed and we spoke about just now are signs that you have a poor work-life balance if these exist. If you have 1, 2, 3, or if you have all of them, you have poor work-life balance. And we're going to speak shortly about 10 tips in overcoming these hurdles in your work-life balance. The first step is setting your priorities. Essentially, knowing and doing some introspection to determine where you are right now. Being honest and open, what you're doing right now. Am I a workaholic? Do I have a poor work-life balance? And be neutral. Try to be honest to yourself about whether you have a proper imbalance in your work life. Then try to figure out where you want to be, what kind of life you want to live at the end of it, personally and professionally. And we're going to try to chart a course how to get there, and it's essentially like a strategic plan for your life. And you have to determine and set priorities as to what is important in your life. Is it that you want to make plenty money? Is it that you want a promotion? Is it that you want to excel at your job? Is it that you want to have a family life? Do you want to be happy? Do you want to travel? Do you want to be healthy? Do you want a combination of all these things in your life? Setting priorities is important, and knowing for you, for everybody it will be different. Their priorities will be different. For some people, family is important. And that ability to separate your professional life and your personal life is important. Spending time with your family, make that your priority, if that is your priority. As I said, for people, they may have different priorities. My second tip is scheduling one thing you look forward to each day. Whether it be reading, swimming, a movie night, exercise. Find time to do something that you love to do. For me, I like to exercise, I like to go running, and for me, I like to watch Netflix. So I set aside time every day for those activities. I look forward to it, and I try as best as possible to do it regardless of work in the evening or no work. So that is my time to get my personal things done. Thirdly, respect your private time. If an emergency has to happen for you to cancel a meeting at work, the same has to go for your private life. There must be an emergency to happen to cancel time with your family, with yourself. Sometimes we think it's work, we will get fired, and all these things that will not happen if we have to set time for ourselves. Again, as we said in the point before, schedule something that you love to do. Schedule things. Go and take a hike. Schedule visit to Miami. Go to Tobago. Plan over a weekend at Hyatt. Do something that you like. Respect your private time. Fourthly, work hard, play hard. This is my philosophy in life. Take time to rejuvenate yourself, whether it be quarterly, annually, semi-annually. Pamper yourself based on your likes. Book a trip to Tobago. Have a spa weekend. Stay a night at the Hyatt. Paint Miami red. Do things that you love to do. Things that cause you rest. So go to a hotel and just lie down and sleep. Somewhere different. Work hard, play hard. You can't be working, spending all the time in the office, stressing yourself, all of these things. And guess what? Stress kills. And do you want to die? I don't think so. So therefore, I want you to do whatever makes you feel that you are the best you. Take time. As hard as you work, you play. Next, I'm going to tell you, don't be afraid to ask for help. Visit your organization's HR department. Many organizations have an employee assistance program, which may be designed to help persons with difficulties, stressful situations, deal and cope with these particular situations. They're there to be helped, and sometimes there's a stigma in terms of accessing these services. But I'm advocating and advising you, take advantage of these services, because somebody to talk to air things that you may be affecting you mentally and stressfully, it's maybe important to speak to them. As well as you can engage a life coach who may be able to add a particular dimension to your life, as well as help you plan life to make things go a little easier, help you with work-life balance, etc. Set boundaries. Work is work, home is home. And we've said this throughout the presentation. Unplug. Enjoy your family, enjoy yourself, enjoy your own company. Do things that you haven't done over a period of time. Complete tasks that you needed to finish over a period of time. Read a book. This is your do not disturb time. Find out about your family's day. Hear what they're doing, hear what interests them. Let them hear from you. Let them hear how your day went. No interruption. Set boundaries. This is your time. This is your personal time for you. Your personal time for your family. Work should never come between the both. Alright? Another tip is exercise, exercise, exercise. Exercise is important. Know your numbers, meaning that you have to know your numbers. Hypertension is a silent killer, and unless you know your numbers, go do your blood pressure testing, blood reading. Don't be afraid to go on quarterly or semi-annually and do your health test. It's better to know and do something about it. Alright? Join the gym, take a run around your neighborhood, skip, do some aerobics in front of your TV in your living room. Exercise relieves stress and clears your mind. It increases productivity. Stress kills, and we don't want stress to kill you, all right? Learn to say no. Don't overwhelm yourself. Many of us want to be, as people say, the best employee, right? Learn to say no. Don't overwhelm yourself. And it goes back to setting priorities. Set your priorities at work. Know what you can handle and the time frame that you can handle what you are doing. Don't accept incoming requests that are not directly or competing with your priority at work. Learn to say no, all right? And don't overwhelm yourself. Another tip in establishing your work-life balance is making time for your family and friends. These relationships are the greatest source of intrinsic satisfaction within persons. If your job is damaging your personal and family relationships, both areas will fail. By making time for your family and friends, you will see productivity and joy return to both aspects of your life. Another tip is tracking your time. Assign times for different tasks that you have to do and stick to it. Sticking to a strict time regimen will ensure that you not only be efficient in your professional life, but also in your personal and family life as well. Here's a little exercise. Keep a time log of everything you do for 1 week. Include your personal things that you do, your work items, and anything that you do for this 1 week. By looking at it and examining it, it will serve as an eye-opener as to how you spend your time. In conclusion, with all these tips presented to you today, I really do hope that you undertake an exercise of honest introspection. Understand yourself, your goals, and your motivations. Set priorities and take care of yourself, your family, your health, and your job. And seek help when needed. Please don't be ashamed to do so. Ensure that nothing suffers at the hand of another. Keep safe and be good. I am Jason Charles. Thank you for listening.